Shefsky here. That sounds like a doorbell. Down, down, down. Shefsky here. I gotta have that in my house. That'd be actually that'd probably annoy my whole family. Shefsky here, and welcome to Fantasy House. It's imaginary MTV Cribs. Basically, think you're in a cartoon universe, and you can be as silly and funny and imaginative as you want, and just come up with the trippiest fantasy house ever. Every week, I have a different real human being, not just entertainers, not just comedians. Not just professional athletes or doctors that have cured diseases. No, I have real human beings on this show that are contributing to society in so many different ways. This week, a longtime friend. This is a special episode because this is a longtime friend that I've known for decades. This dude has always been, he's sitting here right now as I read this intro, so it's very awkward not to make eye contact with him. He's always been in my corner, always been supportive, always just been a freaking great dude. I don't know, your kids are lucky because you're a positive, supportive, loving human being. And he flew out from Colorado to do this episode. And I'm not lying, folks. He didn't have like a dentist appointment. He didn't have business he had to do out here. He actually flew out here to record this episode of Fantasy House, and I am motherfucking honored to have him as a guest today. Guys, you know this. You know what this podcast is brought to you by? It's brought to you by me, Jon Shefsky, the only realtor in Southern California. Look it up. Google it. Actually, don't Google it. Anyways, I would love to be of service. If you're thinking about buying or selling, or you have any questions, if you want to learn about like multifamily investment properties, anything like that, hit me up. fantasyhousepodcast@gmail.com, or you can just go to my Instagram, which is just Jon Shefsky. Instagram, JONSHEFSKY. You can call me from there. You can email me from there. You can see what's up. My good friend, Nick the Plumber, also known officially by his Christian name, Nick Gandzjuk, is here today. I can't wait to hear about his fantasy house. Guys, stick around. Here it comes. In the words of the great Angelo Bowers, let us do this!
Won't you take it all around all the food of your fantasy house? You're the Moses where the Moses where you get in your fantasy house. Get all the money for expensive construction. The only way is your imagination. You're the food of your fantasy house right now.
I hung out in tattoo parlors as a youngin', and I met you in a tattoo parlor, and I walked in and saw this painting. It was like a 10 by 10 of like a toilet bowl with like a piece of shit in it. And I walked in and said,
I forgot about that.
And I said, who?
It's the Loch Ness Monster, right?
Totally.
It's the one with the turd that's coming out of the water, and it says Loch Ness Monster.
Totally. And the owner of your parlor was a BFF of mine at the time, and I said, who painted that? And he said, oh, you got to meet my buddy John. And that was, the rest was history. I was just a fan of all your art and anything you do since that day.
Well, I feel the same way about you, as your art being that you're a stellar dude, and you've always been, I'm sure you just know from your life and your other experience, you've always been a smiling face, a friendly, like you're a very positive person to be around.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that.
To spread that joy in the world. That's always, I think, for those of us that aren't that or want to be that, when we encounter someone like that, we're like, man, I want to make people feel good when they just see me. You know what I mean? And like you do that. Or like,
Thank
Nick
you.
the Plumber's here. Like, it was always exciting. There'd be news in the shop. Like, oh, Nick the Plumber's stopping by later. We're like, oh yeah.
Fuck yeah, he's coming.
Even if it's for like 2 minutes, it brightens your day just for you to be like, hey, what's up? And you're like,
that's cool to
what's
know that.
up, dude? Yeah, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
Seriously, it makes
Thank
a difference in people's lives.
Cool. I appreciate that.
So we knew each other in the tattoo world when I was in the tattoo shop.
We did, and I remember you starting out in the comedy thing, and I know that I went to your first couple shows. Like,
I'm sorry. Let me apologize on air for that one.
you had some pretty good stuff, though. I remember a bit about a walrus vagina. Do you remember that bit?
Yep.
And all the times you apologized to your grandma.
Oh,
in
dude.
the audience.
Dude. Oh, dude, I was a dirty, filthy little new comic, and I just wanted to be like Dave Chappelle and Robert Schimmel. I wanted to make up like silly, fake sexual stories.
Totally.
It was so bad.
It was awesome.
Now I have to explain it to the audience, to the listeners. Guys, I had a joke about, like, and it was fully made up, and it was basically about me going to SeaWorld and falling over the glass while looking at a walrus and going face first into a walrus's crotch. It was such a bad joke, but it was fun though. I think about it,
it was fun.
Oh, dude, it was kind of fun.
Totally.
And then years later, you moved to the Rado.
I did.
Do we call it that? Is that the cool?
I always said Colorado until I moved there, and it's Colorado.
Yeah.
But they call themselves Coloradans, which I think.
Do they use like the hang loose symbol underneath it and put it in bright neon
letters?
letters?
It's fairly conservative.
Is it really in Colorado?
Except for Boulder. Boulder's very
the Austin
liberal.
Of Colorado.
Topless county, yeah.
Okay, that's where I got to go. That's where I'd feel comfortable.
Right. Oh,
right?
totally. Yeah.
Like half redneck, half hippie. That's where I'm like. That's where I'm most comfortable.
Totally.
If you miss either of those sides of it, I'm just like, what are you guys doing? You know, if it's too hippie and not enough redneck, I'm like, you guys are missing a huge part of life.
It's got to be right in between.
And if it's too redneck, right, you're like, you got to add some hippie to that.
Right in between.
Right?
Right in between.
So you moved out there. You've been plumbing. Is that a term for plumbing?
Plumbing with no G. Plumbing.
You've just been plumbing.
Plumbing.
With like an apostrophe, no G at the end.
That's it. Plumbing.
You've been plumbing for how long?
23 years.
What got you into that? 23, Michael Jordan.
Oh, I wasn't much of a college kid, and my stepdad said, hey, pick up a trade, and so I got a job in construction. And I did windows first, but that's not, I mean, Nick the window guy kind of sucks.
It doesn't have the same rhyme.
Yeah, and Nick the plumber sounded way better.
It shows your full career trajectory out of syllables. You're like, too many syllables, not doing that.
Syllables. It didn't sound cool enough.
You make plumbing seem cool, where you're like, dude, like people don't respect trades a lot, especially like like the hip. Like it was always in school. I remember them being like, you don't want to end up like with a wrench. And then like as I get older, I was like, the coolest people I know have like wrenches and tools.
Totally. And I think it was the cable guy that had that one line like, yeah, he treated me like snot, like I'm a goddamn plumber or something. And I always took that into defense.
In Jim Carrey's skit?
Yeah, Jim Carrey, yeah. It's like, wait, what?
And you're like watching, like, hey, that hit a little close to home there, buddy.
Yeah, like what? Yeah, I've always enjoyed. I've enjoyed working with my hands, and like we were talking about earlier, just helping people. Really, is what it comes down to. It's really providing a service that is an absolute necessity.
It feels good, right?
It feels great. It feels fantastic. At the end of my day, I hang my hat with a smile, knowing that I helped multiple people during that day. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's so great. They always say, you and I were joking about this earlier. Like when you're depressed or you're feeling down, they're like one of the best tips I ever heard that helped me out was like, it's because you're thinking about you're being narcissistic or something like that. Mm-hmm. So stop thinking about yourself and just go like ask someone if you can help them do something. So if you're depressed, like find an old lady crossing the road, see someone like see a dude that's on crutches and help him get into his car. Go to the grocery store, ask someone if you can carry. Just ask someone if you can help them, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's like that is a good immediate fix that can like literally get you out of something really quick of depression, just to feel of service. But like a long-term solution is like find jobs or purpose that really make you feel of service.
Yeah, and like to literally make a career out of serving people is very fulfilling. It's been fulfilling as a lifestyle for me. I really do. I appreciate all the people that helped me along the way and that allowed me to develop, a knowledge and a certain skill set that has allowed me to just help people day in and day out.
Totally.
Yep.
Did you ever have anything like wild happen though? Like when you're like a younger plumber and you're like, dude.
Younger plumber.
Younger plumber stories?
Oh, yeah. I got all kinds of crazy stories, which, hopefully it makes this episode kind of fun too, like seeing all kinds of crazy houses and big, working for rich and famous people. And working
so you've been inspired like in person, like
yeah.
I got to get me one of these.
Yeah, and it's funny, listening to previous episodes and people that are like, oh, I want this in my house. And I've seen stuff like that in people's houses, like motion lights that follow you through rooms and turn off when you walk out. Like people with lots of money have lots of all kinds of fun stuff.
I've told a couple of guests where I'm like, you think you made that up out of thin air? There's rooms with mattresses for floors.
Totally.
Like, what?
Yeah, totally.
You're like, oh yeah, dude.
I've seen some crazy stuff out there.
Yeah, or like the windows that can just go black out by a touch of a button. It's like those exist.
Oh yeah,
and like, yeah, it's exciting, right? You're like, oh,
it is. Yeah, it's cool. I've seen some really cool stuff. I've had some a lot of fun times. I've had some really weird things happen too, and I've
tell us one.
Stuff.
I got to hear one. I know our listeners want to hear one weird thing.
I was in a house for. It all started in a house. It was actually on a private island outside of Newport. Really, really wealthy. I think she was like the heiress to the GM fortune or something.
Yeah, one of those
crazy
fun things to find yourself in.
Yeah, and so like people, like true servants in her house. Like everyone was in uniform. Like an olive green uniform
like
staff.
A full staff was employed?
Yeah, and the weirdest part about the whole thing was a guy followed me. I worked there for 4 hours, and he followed me with a cloth, and he wiped everything I touched. All the doorknobs. If I leaned against the wall, he'd come up and wipe it as soon as I moved.
Weird.
For 4 hours, and after...
That's not healthy. That's when money makes you not healthy. You're
No.
like, that's not healthy.
And I don't. Maybe she was a germaphobe or something, but it was one of the weirdest situations I had ever been in.
Yeah.
After about 2 hours, told the guy, like, hey, if you want to just clean when I'm done... You know what I mean? That would make me a little more.
Just clean everything in here.
He never said a word to me. He just stared at me.
He wasn't allowed to even.
And he just kept wiping stuff. Everything I touched, he wiped.
Was it Norm Macdonald in that one movie? Was it Dirty Work? No, it's not Dirty Work. There's Dirty Work, and there's what's the one with Danny DeVito, Norm Macdonald, Dave Chappelle. It's not Dirty Work. They came out around the same time, and they're both brilliant movies. Anyways, Norm Macdonald plays a servant, and it's really funny. The lady he works for, and I just
obscene.
Oh, just
tasks.
Yeah, where you're like, you have like too much money, and then you have too much time to like get weirder. Like you and I, we're regular people. Like we can't afford to get that weird.
We can't afford it.
You know what I mean? That's why celebrities always end up all weird. You're like, why is Jim Carrey so trippy? It's like because he can be as trippy as he wants, and he never loses the top part of his the hierarchy of needs.
Oh,
like
yeah.
he'll always have shelter, food, healthcare, a car. Not that he's bad or anything. I'm just saying like you can't afford to be so weird in your like if you're the weirdest plumber out there, people will be like, don't hire that guy as the weirdest plumber. But if you're like, I own Ford cars, people are gonna be like, he owns Ford cars, and he insists that we roll cooked corn out in front of him everywhere he walks, and it's just like that's just how it is. He needs to walk on cooked corn.
He walks on corn cobs. He rolls.
He rolls on corn cobs. He's a real assembly line guy, like his great grandpapa, and we just do it because that's how it is. But you and I can't do that, right?
No,
like it's like
we'd be totally.
I don't sit on couches. I sit in Jello bowls. People be like, no, we're not doing that for you. We'll find someone else to do our podcast and to be our realtor. So yeah, okay. So that money lets her have someone wiping up after you. God only knows what else is going on in that house.
I can't imagine what they do behind her. I don't know.
She's like, I haven't seen my husband. He's just been murdering hookers on an island with the Epsteins or whatever. Right? You're like, and I just want to make sure there's no germs on any of my handles.
Yeah. It was definitely out there.
Oh, dude,
a weird deal.
Did you ever anything like gnarly happen that was in a good way? Where you're like, whoa, they gave me a free helicopter just for coming in here. I got a helicopter.
I have acquired some cool stuff, TVs and such. People are like, oh, hey, I bought a new TV. My husband said, this one wasn't working, but I think he was just lying to get a new TV. But I have nowhere to take, can you take that? And then all of a sudden I had a 70-inch flat screen for the garage.
Just to hurry up and get it out of their way?
Nothing wrong with
That's
it.
how I got my Herman Miller office chair.
Oh, that's cool.
They're just like, it's broken. I was like, it is. And then I bought a $20 bolt. Herman Miller office chair.
Totally.
Yeah. So you got a 70-inch TV.
Totally. I got a bar. Like I found a bar once, like a whole bar, like this old 70s yellow vinyl bar, and that was the bar in my home bar.
Oh, wow.
That we called Manville forever. I mean, it was there for like 10 years. I mean, I served hundreds of drinks over that thing.
What's the scoop now? So now you're out in the Rado, as us locals say. Welcome to Rado.
Welcome to Rado. Yeah, I've returned full circle. So I actually retired from plumbing like 8 or 9 years ago, and went into executive management. But then kind of returned full circle to lead a less stressful life. We say
full flush in this industry.
Sorry, return full flush.
Full flush, that's right.
Full flush. Back into a hands-on trade job again. So now I'm back plumbing, specializing in sewer service. It's so low stress. It's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot healthier for me.
It makes me happy that you're healthier mentally and just happier, and to see that you can still be of service to society, make a good living, and not be pulling your hair out, being stressed out. Is like, man, this is like a really long advertisement for Colorado.
Colorado, yeah, it's great.
Local Coloradans will be like all mad that you did this episode. They'll be like,
totally.
There's like 8 more cars on our street this year. It's here because of your damn podcast.
More damn Californians. Stop coming here.
I get emails from Colorado realtors like, thanks for the referral, man. We're really a lot of Californians migrated over.
Right.
No, that's great, dude. I'm
Yeah.
stoked for you and the family.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
That's
that.
beautiful. So since you live in a heavenly Colorado, how are you going to even come up with something even better than that for a fantasy house?
It's going to be a mix between the two.
Okay.
Demographically, we'll definitely have some rock and roll SoCal roots.
Nice.
Sprinkled in with some of what I'm doing now, which is farmhouse stuff. I bought a farm. I moved out there and bought the farm.
You bought a farm.
I bought a farm, yeah.
What does it entail to own a farm?
A lot of work. I guess people don't realize how much work it is. Like I work all week and then have the weekends off, but I literally could wake up with the sun on Saturday, walk outside and have something to do until the sun goes down. Whether it's yard work or like mending finches, air quotes, you know what I mean? Or
Is it stuff where you could get your kids to help? Like, do you have cowboy hats for
And then
everybody? Or?
we have boots and hats, and and we like a lot of snow clothes because you still got to do a bunch of stuff in the snow, which is fun.
Okay, where's your location?
On the floor of the fabulous forum.
The forum
The forum
in LA.
In LA, yeah.
Your fantasy house is on the floor of the forum.
On the floor of the forum.
Oh my god, this is
in
already
LA.
getting good. Okay,
So-
what does it look like if we walk into the forum?
Packed house. In fact, not only is it every seat sold out.
God, you're lonely out there in Colorado, huh?
Totally.
You're like, my fantasy is that everybody's watching me,
Everybody
my wife
watch-
and kids at all times.
Dude, yes. So, and you actually have to buy tickets to get in. So for this podcast, we'll just pretend that you won backstage passes on your local radio station to get in to my home.
What's the local station?
Whatever, I don't know.
You're listening to whatever, I don't know, FM.
What's huge here? KLOS.
KLOS,
That's the
yeah.
rock station, right?
Pirate Radio.
Pirate
That's
Radio.
been around for a few years.
Right.
Jack FM.
Yes. So you called in, you were caller 69 and got yourself some backstage passes, some lammies.
Dude, super teenager style, too.
Totally.
I was caller 69.
That's awesome.
I got the tickets, too, boo.
Totally.
Super stoked.
So not only is my farmhouse on the floor of the forum
Yeah.
is in dead center of the Mall of America.
Okay. With the roller coaster going around?
Everything. Totally. It includes every amenity plus restaurants and shopping.
Wetzel's Pretzels, Stussy and Pacific Sun, roller coasters,
Comedy clubs.
comedy clubs. Is there a comedy club?
Go-kart. There's a comedy club. Go-karts. There's a movie
go-karts.
theater.
I love it.
There's everything you need.
Okay.
So I could get a huge fan base in the forum, which makes me feel good. People cheering.
What would they be cheering? Would they be like, Dick
well, that's
the Plumber?
Well, that's the whole thing. Like, we'll just pretend there's producers that watch me. So they don't actually watch what goes inside my house, but producers do. So there's like an applause light and like a laugh light. So when I tell a funny joke or a quick zing, someone clicks it and the whole audience goes nuts. So I feel good about it.
So you have producers watching what is going on. So you've allowed a small group of elite people to see what's going on in there.
Totally.
Watching you in the shower, cracking a fart out.
Totally.
And then they hit the applause button.
And the crowd goes wild.
So the crowd's a hired crowd to their, what do you call it, paid audience.
Yep.
But you get the joy of like, I'm killing it right now.
Totally.
That is hilarious and genius in a very interesting psychological way.
It's fulfilling.
It's very.
It just makes me feel awesome. It makes everyone at my house feel awesome too. So when you're there and you crack some jokes, they're just like clap track, and 40,000 people go nuts.
And I'm just like, yeah,
Dude, killing
like we're at
this
dinner.
room.
And I just did like a stupid dad joke. Like, this dinner is this dinner or dinner? It's like lunchtime in here. Am I right? And then I'm just like, oh my god.
That's the crowd going
But
wild.
you and your family are just looking at me deadpan at your table.
Totally.
But I'm like, I'm killing. I don't know what's the matter with you people.
My kids are like, what did you say?
Dad, this guy sucks. And I'm just like, shut up, you little bitch. And I tell the security to take him out.
Totally.
You're a heckler.
Totally. So the house is like an off-white buttery cream farmhouse. It essentially is my house now, which is my true life dream house. Big black roof, like oversized, like not so it looks like a mushroom.
BBR.
Yeah, not so it looks
Big
like a
black
mushroom.
roof.
It's my favorite kind of flick. BBR.
That's right.
Right. It has like deep fascia, so like over accentuated fascia.
Oh man.
It's at the same time it's very plain. It's just a straight the themes like boho, like bohemian farmhouse mixed with some
Wood siding, simple, not getting too crazy.
not getting too crazy.
Okay.
Totally simple.
Aside the fact that it's inside the forum, but
that it's inside the Fabulous Forum that's inside the Mall of America.
With a hired 10,000 person crowd 24 hours a day.
Built-in laugh track.
Yeah.
It's got some mid-century modern sprinkled in as far as furniture. Like with a southwestern motif, but not pastel. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Like rich navies. Mustard.
Rich navies,
mustards.
like the successful countries of the world. Rich navies,
Rich navies.
That's how I determine. Is this a shit country or one of the successful countries? How rich is your navy?
A rich navy.
That sounds like someone's request. Like, let's buy that country. They have a rich navy.
Rich navy.
The women are hot and the navy is rich. I will own the whole country.
Well, you can own my throw pillows. They're rich navy.
Rich navy.
Lots of maroondy, which is
what's maroondy?
You're
schooling me,
a
dog.
mix between maroon and burgundy. Maroondy.
You mean burgundy?
Yes, it's a rich burgundy.
If you're listening to this right now and you Google maroondy, you'll see something. Will they see something?
I have no idea. I've never.
Did you just
Googled
make it up, or is that a real term?
I made it up.
You made it up.
Well, I can't take I'm sure somebody else made it up, but I'm making it up right now.
Right
totally.
now. Somebody else hasn't made it up on Fantasy House, so it's never happened. That's
cool.
That's how I determine things in my life.
It's a new Fantasy House color.
Maroondy.
White oak floors, light. What everything white inside, just white,
just bright,
just all white.
Why do you like it all white? Is it?
I've always been drawn to all white because then art stands out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then art...
Anything with color just pops.
Pops. Huge impact when you walk into a house. It's just... Everything's stark white and everything's just about pieces of furniture that are even like art. Certain different chairs and stuff.
Do you ever worry like when it's all white that it's just going to get dirty all the time? Because like every time I wear a white shirt is like when I get a flat tire and I'll be like, yeah!
Grease stains.
Dude, I get a grease stain. And I'm like, I haven't touched anything with grease on it for 6 months. And then the day I wear a white shirt, grease stains.
Grease stains. Not necessarily, but I mean, I can always just paint over it.
Yeah, no, it's your fantasy house. You can have
you
can have nanobots that paint over stuff as they get dirty. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, but in real life, like even getting white dirty, we just paint right over it. I mean, because I got 2 kids and they're fairly crazy. I mean, they're really great kids, but every once in a while, something gets thrown at the wall.
Oh, of course.
I'm repainting.
You just dunk them in white paint.
Totally.
Or the walls.
The walls,
okay.
Yeah.
If you dunk your kids in white
my
paint.
Kids.
That's a really weird thing. You're like, oh yeah, dude, it keeps them clean.
Totally. Keeps them clean.
We're super white over here in Colorado.
Right.
Like, your friends are really white. And you're like, yeah, they're mostly Dutch. We're like, no, they're covered in white paint. Like, yeah, no, they're white.
I was just listening to a David Lee Roth podcast, and he was talking about getting fired from a Vegas casino for cracking a joke about Edgar Winters, who's an albino. Yeah. And on stage, he told him to lighten up, and they totally fired him.
They fired David Lee Roth?
They fired David Lee Roth.
Edgar Winters has more power than David Lee Roth?
DLR, yeah, he got fired for cracking that joke.
That's
hey,
hilarious.
lighten up.
Dude, that's so funny. I actually did comedy at a place once where the guy was out. One of the guys that the bartender was albino. He's a super nice dude, but like something happened and he laughed at something. I was like, even the guy that got struck by lightning's laughing. And then like I felt really. And I was just riffing, like I didn't mean anything by it. But I was definitely fired from that gig as well. Anyways, so me and David Lee Roth.
You and David Lee Roth
We got
fired
a
for albino
lot of things
jokes.
in common. We got to go to celebrity rehab.
Totally. A customer of mine, by the way, David Lee Roth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here in Pasadena.
Is he the one that gave you the free
No.
the free TV screen?
No, in fact, you can't bring... Yeah, no, I never got anything from him other than revenue. But you can't bring like phones on, like you deal with management. You can't take pictures on his property or any of that
Because they're just like it's private. Like
totally.
I feel like if they
private.
have to be like that though, because if he didn't, like it would open the floodgates of people abusing. Right?
Yeah, and of all the famous people, he's probably the coolest. So I've been in a lot of wealthy homes.
Yeah,
and usually really
everybody shits.
Totally.
Just if you're listening right now, you're like, famous people have plumbers.
Totally.
Oh yeah, we're all pissing and shitting and washing our hands and.
Yeah, and
we need sewage.
The wealthiest homes I've ever worked in are not famous people. A lot of famous people are so wealthy, but like the funnest by far. So like his. I don't even know if I should say this, but like his private life is super private, but super awesome.
Yeah.
Like literally still has every jumpsuit he's ever worn on racks in his living room.
Oh, wow.
It's
in
amazing.
his living room?
In his living room.
It's like the Hard Rock Cafe when you walk into his living room?
Totally. Racks of boas. And all around the property is like sprinkled with shit from his videos. Like in the Van Halen days. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like all the, like the outfit and climbing shoes and stuff from like some of the skyscraper days.
Yeah.
And like, just like Paradise, that surfboard's like propped up in his yard.
He celebrates his whole journey at David Lee Roth.
And I would too. I mean, I would just relish in that.
Is he just chilling?
Awesome.
Is he just retired nowadays, or like what's he doing?
No, he still tours. I mean, because he pops in and out of the property. I mean, you really just deal with staff. Like when you're that big, you know. I always just dealt with staff, but he'd pop out and say what's up.
That'd be so cool.
Totally.
Man, okay.
Yeah,
I was trying to think of a pun for Van Halen and plumbing and fantasy houses, and I couldn't put all three together.
That's okay,
right? It's like you try to come up with a pun for David Lee Roth, and you realize you're not the only one because everybody wants him.
Everybody. Good one, dude.
Well, if I was in your fantasy house, I'd have a full fucking applause of 10,000 people in my. Everybody wants some riffs.
That's me applauding.
You did a good job. I felt real. And we're sitting in Kamel's house while I'm looking at a deer that Kamel's dad shot, just sitting on the wall. And I was like, he's kind of smiling. He's smirking at me. He likes that.
He thought it was funny. He totally thought it was
right.
Funny. Yeah, that's a great bust.
I'm hot for Shefsky. If that deer started singing,
totally. That'd be awesome.
I'll listen to every single episode of Fantasy House. I'd like to get off of this wall, but I'm on a mount. I got it bad. I'm a stuffed deer that's hot for Shefsky. I will make love to that deer right now if it makes this episode kick ass.
It's a good looking deer.
All right,
so okay, back to my farmhouse. I have a huge, exaggerated welcome mat that's like the size of a sheet of plywood. If you've seen those really big ones, and it has like my favorite hoboglyph. Do you know what hoboglyphs are?
No.
Hoboglyphs are like turn of the century markings that hobos, like in their lifestyle, would mark paths to people's property to identify who lived there to other hobos, that only hobos knew what they stood for. So they could see it and go, oh, hey, there's a kind old lady here, you know, tell her a pity story. You know, or like, hey, don't go here. They got vicious dogs. So they have this whole.
That was like their sales. What do you call it?
It was like it was like warning signs for other hobos.
Like, don't go there. That guy will shoot you if you're on his property.
Totally,
that
exactly.
Lady, if you give her a sob story, we'll give you a free drink and some food.
Exactly. Like, hey, there's shelter here. They have an open barn. You can sleep in the hay. Like, no questions asked. Just go sleep there. So there was one that's my favorite that is like so plain and so basic. It's just 2 lines, and it literally stands for "Sky's the limit" at this property. So that's my welcome mat. Just those 2 lines that stand for the "Sky's the limit."
That's rad.
Totally, and it's crazy because they have hoboglyphs now. Currently, but they're like all branded. Like they're not the same as the ones that.
It's like Burning Man. It's all corporate now.
It's so corporate, like McDonald's, M's. You know what I mean? Like and it's weird. I looked some of them up recently, and they were like all about like where you can go get recycled like fryer oil. I'm like, why would a hobo need recycled fryer oil?
Hobos don't have the diesel Mercedes running on like French fry oil.
It's not as enticing or attractive as like the historic 100-year-old hoboglyphs. Like they really are. It's like a whole language.
That's pretty badass that you even know that.
Yeah, I know some weird shit, man.
Did you ever travel by train?
I have traveled by train, yeah. A lot, actually, throughout the state of California as a late teen. That was my method of transportation because it was fun.
Like illegally getting on trains and going?
No, I bought tickets.
Okay.
I got tickets.
I almost thought you'd be a hobo for a second. And I was
a hobo?
I was like, you were a hobo? He's like, oh, no. I mean, I bought tickets and sat in a regular chair.
I bought ticket.
I was like, moonshine, murder, that kind of weird stuff. The bowl cut. Nope. No. I was just Amtrak.
Bowler hats. Yeah, it was Amtrak. Yeah, it was cool.
So that's your welcome mat.
That's my welcome mat. Sky's the limit. So when you ring my doorbell, it is the howling intro from Welcome to the Jungle. It's just Axel, but he's like really standing there. Yeah, and it's the opening guitar riff. This
is when you ring your doorbell.
That's when you ring the doorbell, totally. but they're really there. So they're actually my greeters. So when you open the door, Axel's just sitting there and he's just howls. It's like, right?
Axel, this is Axel's job now.
Axel
Is that he
Rose.
works at your house as a greeter?
Totally, but it's like 88 Axel, like the teased hair, no shirt,
Yeah,
like
dude.
leather
Totally.
clad, and so then Slash is there, and his job solely is to follow me around my house and just solo my events of the day. So I think I've heard guests talk about how they have like mood music.
Yeah.
Like literally it's just Slash soloing.
He's
like
playing
my
guitar
mood.
in the background when you're doing stuff.
Totally. But since you're here, he's following you around.
Oh my God.
And he's just going to solo the events of the day throughout my household.
Like if I just ask him, like, where's the restroom at? Like Slash is going to be like,
Totally.
oh, wow. Yeah.
Just literally.
Just noodling that shit.
Yes, totally.
Okay, cool.
So for the record, my house is super low tech. Like in fact, it's so low tech, it's no tech. I have no tech. Not a fan.
Okay.
There's zero tech. So with that being said, there's no TVs. You know, you don't watch movies or TV shows. But my house is filled with real actors. In fact, the whole crowd are real famous actors, and they just act out their movie parts in my family room. So
if Al Pacino just like
totally,
doing the scene.
totally, I totally have Al Pacino.
Oh, dude. You guys,
Scarface. He's just sitting there doing his thing. Like he just acts it out and they just act out like it's just a huge open forum in my family room
that's hilarious.
with lighting and everything.
Live theater.
Live theater, but it's TV shows and it's at request. So then that whole applauding crowd are all those famous people just waiting to go on next for whatever movie you'd like to watch.
Oh, Julianne Moore is like one of the people clapping. Like, when's it my
Totally.
turn to get in there and
Totally. And when
do
you
30 Rock Live with Alec Baldwin?
and when you request it, they come on in and they do their thing.
Oh, wow.
Totally.
That's I love how many celebrities you're employed.
40,000.
Just 40,000 celebrities.
But you can't get in without buying tickets. So like it pays for all that.
it pays for itself,
Pays for
basically.
itself.
Your house, it pays for itself.
It pays for itself.
You can't afford not to have Nick's fantasy house.
It's like super
in this
expensive.
economy.
It's super expensive cable.
Yeah,
So all these people that are in my house like are
it's the therapy bill alone.
right. They're all waiting to perform. So like I could talk to them if need be, or just walk around and they're like making messes and cleaning shit up and like, you know, they're cooking and like doing dishes. So like we just watched Shallow Hal. So Jack Black's in the kitchen making like one big nacho. And Gwyneth's in there gooping it up with like a fucking dirt smoothie or whatever. So I could just
Whatever, Gwyneth.
the goopity
Dirt
goops,
smoothie.
dude. So I could just walk in the kitchen and eat whatever someone's cooking at any one time because there's always someone in there making food. You know what I mean? Some celebrity chef.
You can just munch on stuff.
Totally. And clothes too. Everyone wears clothes and gets them dirty, and they do all their own laundry. So I just walk around and wear famous people's clothes.
What? Just famous people's clothes.
Yeah, fuck
Whose is this? I don't know.
Hey, it's like 2 sizes too big. I need a belt. Just go find a belt.
Whatever.
Totally.
Let's find a belt. Someone's got a belt, right?
Totally.
Johnny Depp's got like 30 of them.
Yeah.
Come on.
Or I go find some smaller pants.
There you
I'm
go.
like, whatever.
Johnny Depp also has 30 of those.
Totally.
Johnny Depp or Mick Jagger will let you borrow their pants.
Totally.
You want some tiny pantalones?
Dude, I never.
Tom Cruise is glad his laundry's still getting done right now.
Totally.
Just reach in the dryer.
His pants are more like shorts for me, though. I'm pretty tall.
Tiny little Tom Cruise shorts.
Totally. Yeah, but see, I never have to do anything that way. I don't have to clean. I don't have to cook. I don't have to do laundry.
Yeah, you
It's
just mooch off
done.
of all of America's heroes.
Totally. That's the best. That's the best part. And at the same time, they're all playing one big game of hot potato
Like throughout your
throughout the
entire-
whole house, and musical
there's
chairs.
one hot potato for 10,000 people getting.
Totally. And musical chairs. If you're in the house, you have to play musical chairs at any one time.
I feel like that is a form of technology. It just really zoomed in.
Zoomed in. It's like old school.
It's like it is an electron like flying down some form of circuit from a certain perspective.
Right. So we talked about all white wall, everything white.
Yep.
And that's so my art stands out. So all the art in my house is live art, like the Pageant of the Masters in Laguna. You ever been to the Pageant of the Masters and the Festival of Arts in
No,
Laguna?
but they joked about it on Arrested Development, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
They have a whole episode about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's all the art in my house is like people painted as paintings and on display.
Phenomenal and trippy.
Totally. And so the theme changes. So like monthly it'll change or whatever. And so while you're here, it'll be my favorite Art Nouveau. It'll be Art Nouveau themed. So it's Alphonse Mucha.
Oh,
I believe
all right,
is the
yeah.
correct
I
pronunciation.
don't know how to pronounce it, but I think you're probably right.
Yeah, you know, I used to say Mucha, but he's not Hispanic. He's Czech. And so doing some further research into that, it is pronounced Mucha. Mucha. Yeah. Alphonse Mucha. And so it's all that Art Nouveau trippy ladies that are all painted up in flowy linen and, filigree.
All the filigree that's like a hard 90-degree angles and then like smooth
totally
transitions.
And that's all my houseplants. And it's all real because it's all real acted out art. It's just ladies standing there for weeks on end.
That's a trip to just even like imagine. Yeah, what a trip. Like to imagine like that, like all those angles and things just being like in 3D in front of you.
Right there.
No one's done that.
Yeah.
It's like I want to...
live art.
Terry Gilliam, like he needs to make that happen.
Totally.
From Monty Python, like make that into a scene. Like I want to see that in like with CGI or with 3D. Like what?
Totally, but pay no attention to it, so it's more like a background thing.
Don't
and
you
you're like, wait, did I just see that?
Make the actual paintings themselves kind of sad. Like they're not even looking over here. I'm fucking holding this weird like position for 3 weeks. Hello,
I haven't moved in 3 weeks, and no one said a word to me.
Right? You burp at the dinner table. 10,000 people laugh. I'm standing here in a weird position. Can someone just stop and look for a little bit?
Pay me some attention.
Yeah. Your desperate paintings.
Totally.
Do you? You were talking about the kitchen a second ago, grabbing food that Gwyneth Paltrow when she's making her dirt smoothies. What's the kitchen look like? Describe it visually.
Shaker style doors, all white. Shaker style everything, which is kind of like a farmhouse chic thing. Big, huge, fat molding. Again,
I love giant molding. Like, that's one of the best things of like country design is
just
like
plain trim everywhere.
Very craftsman-y, very country.
Yeah, our old house, we used to have the butcher block. It was a lot of maintenance in that. So the countertops we have now are fairly low maintenance. They're like a gray stone, and they're easy, but all white backsplash. I mean, just easy.
Okay.
My kitchen is full of cornucopia, though. I love spilling out cornucopia, so I could just go eat fruit. And veggies. They're just like legit cornucopias.
That's how your groceries get delivered from Amazon?
In a cornucopia.
Totally. Is this in a bag? Because I don't work with those.
Right.
Send it back.
Right. Some famous person, Matthew McConaughey, just filling my cornucopias.
I think these fucking eccentric billionaires have rubbed off on you, and you're like, I will not look at that if it is not in a cornucopia.
Everything full of cornucopia.
All your help is like talking to each other. They're like, just make sure it's in a cornucopia. And like, what? Like, just trust me and put it in a cornucopia.
Put it in a cornucopia. And cakes. I love cake. I don't know why I love like fancy cakes.
What kind of cake would we be having right now in your fantasy house if I was here with the fantasy house crew, the film crew and me?
Currently, the theme of the week is like an almond floured cake.
Okay.
But I'll have one made to look like a cornucopia full of fruits. So you think it's real fruit, but it's an exotic cake.
Dog.
Right?
Is this fantasy house or cake boss? Yeah.
It's fantasy cake boss.
The house is a cake.
The house is one big cake. Let's see. We discussed the family room. That's where all the they'll have great acoustics in the family room. That's where all the acting and TV shows. We could watch Saved by the Bell or whatever.
Oh yeah, dude.
They're just in the corner.
I really want to watch Saved by the Bell when I can go look at like one of your freaking paintings, just chilling. Let's sit down and watch Slater do something.
Let's watch. What's AC Slater up to?
What's AC Slater up to right
Lisa
now?
Turtle. And they're all there. I mean, they're in the crowd. Everyone's cheering. They're crowd members.
Oh yeah, they're waiting to go up on stage. I forgot that I'm not watching Saved by the Bell, the show. I'm watching.
You're watching the true actors acted out in front of you.
Yeah. So I digress. Yes, let's or not digress. I don't even know what the term is. I'm changing this one up. Let's watch Saved by the Bell. 3D Saved by the Bell.
Totally.
I'm into it.
Totally. Bathrooms are bathrooms. If there's any tech in my house, it'd be in my master bath. We'll get to that.
Okay.
But that would probably be the only tech that's in there.
Okay.
We could check out the master bedroom, which is also...
Yeah, let's go there.
Master bedroom.
This is the only place that could have any tech? Or the master bathroom?
The bathroom
is
tech.
We'll start with the master bedroom. Oh, yeah, and the crowd goes crazy?
Totally. Dude, and Slash is like soloing behind you. Don't forget about Slash.
And I'm just doing... Oh, yeah. I wonder if Slash ever plays any like Kirk Hammett style... Or actually, that was Cliff Burton, right? But if he plays any... Wait.
No, it was Kirk Hammett.
That's Kirk Hammett. Yeah, Cliff Burton was the bassist.
Totally.
I wonder if he plays any Metallica.
I'm sure he has to. You know what I mean?
Fun?
Yeah, I mean, because he wouldn't jam on any of his own shit.
No.
No.
He would be like, I'm not wasting my stuff for jam. I'm doing Metallica.
Yeah, totally. He has to just jam on other people's shit when he's fucking around.
So he's jamming on the actual guitar. I'm doing it with my mouth. The crowd's
Totally.
going crazy. Master bedroom.
Totally.
Nick's master bedroom is about to blow my mind.
It is going to blow your mind. It's fairly basic, though, and I don't have a mattress floor. It's just a simple king
It's okay.
raised bed.
I'm
simple
about to
furniture.
have a no mattress floor rule soon. It's like
Too many people.
I
have
eventually had
fantasized about it.
no interdimensional or like portal doors, and then now I'm gonna have to add that to it too. And no fucking
No
mattress
more
floor.
mattress floor.
And no offense if you're a listener that was on an episode already and you had a mattress floor. It was a great idea, and I love it too. But my listeners deserve to be refreshed.
Refreshed.
So you have a regular hard floor with oak, like light oak wood.
Yep, white oak, number 1, no knots, just grain. Basic. It kind of carries the same motif as the rest of the house with the marugandy and rich navies and mustards.
Rich navy. I'm listening.
Right.
How much will they sell for?
The bed's average height, not too tall, not too low. So I can literally just kind of lean down onto it. Because when they're too high, you got to hop up, and when they're too low, you got to fall. It's like perfect height to just bottom out, quote unquote, bottom out.
No pun intended.
No pun intended.
Put your tushy right here.
Totally. So I love TV at bedtime, but my house has no tech. So instead of TV, I have Huey Lewis and the News, and they sing me a 3 to 4 song set every morning when I wake up and every evening when I go to bed, and they update me with actual news stories.
Huey Lewis?
Huey Lewis
because of the
and
news?
the news, yeah. So I get the news from the news.
The Dow Jones is down 500 points. Boom, boom. Don't worry about it, because all your money's in bitcoins.
Dude, totally. They're talking about
Don't let
Amazon's
your
on fire.
kids in the room, because you got morning wood.
And he does ads too. That's how we make some side hustle money too.
You're making Huey Lewis
yeah,
side hustle?
he's like, he's doing ads like, that's the power of Dove, and it's like a soap ad for my master bathroom.
Then you go in your master bathroom, and that's what's in there, because
Dove
you've been
soap,
brainwashed by Huey Lewis for years, and that's all you use is Dove.
Dove, totally.
He's also the guy that he works for the cornucopia lobby.
Yeah, totally, dude.
Let's go into that master bathroom then.
Okay,
the
so
only place that you allow tech in your house.
The only place that I allow tech. So the master bath is very sterile at the same time. Still all white tile, white everything tile. And I have a bathroom attendant. It's Joey Lawrence, and every time I take off my pants, he goes "Whoa!" And that's just for me. That's just for me. I can have him do it for you if you want.
Yeah, I'd prefer if Blossom was just in there, just not even saying anything. But
Totally.
she has like a biology degree, right? So she could probably look at
Totally.
me and scientifically analyze by me going to the bathroom in the morning.
Yeah.
She's like, you have a decent stream. You're at about 85% of the stream curve.
If you stand slightly at an angle to the right,
then my brother will say, "Whoa."
Totally. Whoa. I have so my toilet is ergonomic, similar to my bed. It's like a comfort height, so it's like the perfect height to sit on. It's not uncomfortable in any way. Elongated bowl. Now, I'm huge on showering after BMs. It's like my thing.
Oh yeah.
So like I'm a regular dude, and my whole day starts that way. It's like a couple cups of coffee, BM shower, and it drives me nuts.
That's your routine. That's your morning miracle.
Totally.
Okay.
And if there's days where I have to get up earlier than other days, I strategically plan it out to have the coffee already even earlier, so I have this whole hour and 20-minute
process.
The total process. And it drives me nuts to be in without a shower. Like I feel filthy.
So if you have to go have a BM somewhere else during the day or whatever else, you don't like the way you feel for the rest of the day.
I don't.
So
I'd rather just take a shower, yeah.
That's difficult.
You're lucky
you're not a Jewish guy that just sometimes has to go when his body says it's time to go.
Yeah, so I don't have that. I'm like I said, I'm fairly routine, I'm fairly regular, and that comes down to dietary, I guess. I'm just watching what I eat and making sure that it's all kind of structured and the same, and I meal prep and all that. So it's always routine, so I'm never stuck. I mean, every once in a while, it's like, oh yeah, no, I can't make it home. And then all I think about is going home to take a shower.
Yeah, people like talking to you, they're like, you all right? You're like staring off into space, just daydreaming about getting in the shower.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, I need a shower so bad. I need a shower so
God bless you for having such a good firm grasp on your bowel movements.
Totally. I'm old.
My bowel movements tell me what to do.
Right. No.
Yours are.
I tell my bowel movements who's boss.
You plan it out. It's in your iCalendar.
Totally.
Your phone. Everything's synced, including my ass.
Totally.
Sphinced. Oh, I'm sphinced.
Sphinced.
iCal is sphinced.
Totally. Yeah, and I can't handle it without the shower. So coming to the tech part, my shower, and this is solely because I'm lazy, is like a car wash. I just take all my clothes off, take a shit, lock my feet into the shower, and this conveyor belt
and
just
it begins.
Yeah, this conveyor belt just takes me through a whole body wash, if you will.
Yeah.
That's just like a car. It sprays a bunch of soap on me, then it sprays me off, then it has all these scrubbies that just like handle the whole thing, top to bottom, and it takes me through that whole shower process.
Yeah.
Facial wash, shampoo and conditioner, like
While you just stand there and just
totally,
chill.
and I just stand there and chill, and so it's super therapeutic, and it's massaging because I got all these weird like foam rubber things rubbing all over. You know what I mean?
Sounds great.
Just like a car wash.
And it's like a warm day in LA, so I'm just like, man, I could go for one of those right now.
A body wash,
like
totally.
a full on, like I don't do anything, and it just gets every crevice, and you're just like,
Copyright,
Yeah,
body
right?
wash,
copyright.
body wash.
Hashtag,
Hashtag.
don't rip off Nick.
Don't do it. Intellectual properties.
Hashtag Nick the Plumber
wash.
idea.
The body wash.
Nick the patent.
I have never seen that in someone's house, for the record.
Like,
Like,
in real life?
In real life, yeah. There's all kinds of crazy shit I've seen in people's bathrooms.
but you've never
I've
seen
never
like
seen
just
a
full
body
conveyor
wash.
belt style. Like it's gonna
No.
just.
Nope.
Yeah, that's badass.
Yep.
I think the closest that we've had on Fantasy House is my buddy Adam had the Iron Man like robot that dresses you like in real time as you're walking, which I haven't seen Iron Man, so I didn't know about it. But he explained it to me. I was like, "That sounds pretty techie. I liked it. It was a cool idea."
So you're walking, it just like dresses,
It dresses
you as
you.
you
So
walk
like,
from
this
one
is
room
like,
to the next.
But this is more important than getting dressed. This is a shower.
This is a shower.
And showers
dude.
is like a sacred,
that's totally
sacred minute for me in the morning.
Totally, and it's as automated as something can be in my no tech house. So it's like the only.
I think that's cool.
That's like the tech limit. Yeah.
You've got your there's a time and a place for tech, and I'm not going to waste it on anything else besides this most important event.
Totally, that's it. Other because
My squeaky clean friend.
and honestly, that's like the only thing that's really personal and kind of to myself in that house because I'm so surrounded by everybody else. Which stuff like that makes me feel good.
Slash isn't in there behind you playing guitar solos while you're going through it.
No, he plays them from the outside. I could hear it. Totally. While I'm in the shower, totally.
As it's scrubbing your balls.
Totally. So in.
Right?
Yeah. I'm fantasizing about it right now.
Right
In
now?
my fantasy house. Totally.
As you get older, you fantasize less about sex and more about like, oh, you know, it'd be great right now. A car wash for my body. You know, you just
Totally
fantasize
car
about.
wash
You know, it'd
for
be
my
great
body.
right now. Not having to do the dishes after I cook a meal.
Totally.
Like whatever happened to the old fantasies we used to have when we were younger.
Right.
Now it's just like, you know, it'd be great right now if my wife's student loans were paid off. That's a fantasy I have. Like it's like that's a fantasy.
That's a fantasy.
Okay, where do we go after this one?
We don't really have a yard. So like if we...
Yeah, I mean, you're in the forum, right?
We're in the forum that's in the Mall of America, which has been rebranded as MOA.
Okay.
Lately.
Like in real life? Or
in real life, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so like if we wanted to get out, we would have to crowd surf from the forum through the forum stands. So we crowd surf out. And then there's two ways to get around this Mall of America.
Wait, are we going outside?
Yeah, we're gonna. Well, it's inside, but it's outside of our house. So if we go into the Mall of America to say ride the roller coaster, or go catch a comedy show or whatever, we have to ride those
You
little.
can go to the comedy show. I've been to enough of those. I'm hopping on the roller coaster. The crowd just went crazy for me saying that.
Totally.
Like we're on a really bad sitcom.
Totally.
They know the cues. They know when it's time. They
Right.
can feel the rhythm.
Totally. So the way we get around is those little 4-wheel furry animals that they have at all the malls now. You ever seen those things?
No, you're tripping me out right now.
What?
What is this? A 4-wheel furry animal?
Yeah, they're like lions and tigers and bears, and they have like 4 wheels, and you rent them for like $2, and the kids race them around the malls. That's how you
Really?
get around malls nowadays.
I had no idea.
What? Go to a mall, brother.
Okay. I guess I will.
They're awesome. They're awesome for adults.
You're not living until you've gone to a mall
You
lately?
could go to a mall.
Really? Just any mall has this?
And almost every mall I've been to, they totally have them, and you could rent them. They're a couple bucks, or
Interesting.
$7 or something.
And people, so you don't have to walk around anymore.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah, and you just ride these animals.
and then you get to
Mind blown.
You get from one spot to the next.
Totally. And that's how we get around.
You go from the Gap
Yeah.
all the way to the Mrs. Fields cookies
Totally.
without having to burn a single calorie besides
Just a little wrist action.
little wrist action. Yeah.
Totally. And they're actually
It's
pretty
got
quick.
a throttle?
It's got a throttle, yeah. That's how it works.
Dude, we're turning
It's
into
like riding
Wall-E.
a quad runner.
Dude.
It's totally like riding a quad.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I actually, it makes me want to go to a mall. Just to
Totally.
go
We
rent
should,
a quad
we should
real
do
quick.
that next.
A quad that looks like a lion.
Totally.
Okay, so we crowd surf. Now
crowd surf.
we got out.
We got out. There's full concessions. Like if you want a hot dog or whatever, you know what I mean. We can do that. Full concession stands, beer taps, whatever you need out there.
Okay.
But when we're done and we go back home, my backyard, I guess, is the stage at the Forum. And so, again, with the no tech, I don't have a radio. So I just have live bands that play on stage. And you can request songs, but you have to like physically create a playlist, like you're requesting a karaoke song, and just hand them a piece of paper.
Write down a piece of paper.
You write down your playlist.
I'm okay with that.
Totally. And I'm a huge fan. I'm a huge fan of
You have
like
to write down skip, like if you're halfway through the song, you write the arrow down and you write skip. Like
skip.
you pass that along to the band and they just immediately skip to the next
Skip
song.
to the next song, totally. But I'm a huge fan of like mashup cover bands. So like while you're here, there's like Bob Dylan playing with the Wu-Tang. They go by Boo Dang.
Hashtag Boo Dang.
Boo Dang, totally. The Boo Dang clan.
Dude, I love that. I'm drawing the Wu-Tang logo right now.
Right?
Boo Dang.
Boo Dang. Cash was everything around me. Cream. Get the money.
Oh, that's so great.
Totally, dude.
And I take it off the barbecue or whatever it is and stick it up your ass slow like. I'll keep feeding you and feeding you.
Totally. Wouldn't that be great?
Is that the beginning of Cream?
It's totally, yeah.
With Method
It's
Man
like, yeah,
threatening of how he's going to torture
threatening
you.
how he's going to torture you.
Torture, motherfucker.
Yeah, totally. So this is Bob Dylan, current Bob Dylan. So he's like well into his 70s.
Oh, so he's like bitter and just insane.
Totally.
You know, ever notice how Bob Dylan like buttons his last button up on his shirt like he's like a 20-year-old like in a Target commercial? I'm like,
Totally.
wait, why are you buttoning up
What?
the very top? How serious are you? And he's
He's
wearing like those
super
straw
serious.
hats, and you're like,
Totally.
you're really tripping me out, Bobby. Like, have you ever done any plumbing at his house?
No.
Okay,
Nope.
because he probably has some weird stuff.
I
Bob
have
Dylan,
to assume.
I imagine Bob Dylan has the weirdest stuff in his house.
I'm sure that it
Been
has to be right.
murdering hookers every night.
Yeah, because I'm sure he has ungodly amounts of money. He's
Right?
probably one of those weird famous
Yeah,
people.
you're like, oh, he's
You're like,
just
it's too much money.
You lose your mind, even if you start off like, you know, he had
Yeah.
this guitar kills fascists.
Totally.
But now he's just like, you know, God only knows.
Who knows?
I wish I had a better punch for that, huh?
Right.
He started off with a guitar.
This guitar kills fascists.
But then now he's... Well, think of an ending to that yourself, folks. Be creative. This podcast is about using your imagination. I can't do everything for you people.
Everything.
You need to have an internal riff dialogue going on anyways. It's for your own health. Gosh darn it. I feel like I'm raising a whole generation over here. I'm just joking, folks. Thanks for listening. I love you guys.
Totally.
All right, what else we got? Are there other rooms here?
There. I have a guest suite.
Let's go
for
there.
Guests.
Let's wrap it up with a guest suite.
Fantasy guest suite.
Fantasy guest suite.
Yes.
Show me this guest suite.
It's actually the green room of the Forum, and it's nothing but plush couches that are big enough to double as sleepers, and anything you want is in there. So let's pretend you're sending in your rider. What would be on your backstage rider?
Like anything?
Anything. It's the fantasy guest suite. I mean, it could be anything you want as the guest.
Anything that I want.
Yeah, 25-pound gummy bear. I mean,
That's hilarious.
whatever.
What a peculiar real doll this celebrity wants. A 25-pound gummy bear. Well, it takes all kinds. Just order it for him.
Just
Better than that
order it.
cornucopia guy. They're like, that's the owner. Shut up.
Yeah.
I would probably, if I had a rider, depending on if I was hungry or not, I would want a virtual reality cockpit so that I could safely and quickly swap between Formula One race cars and maybe like those Red Bull, like those jets that the propeller planes that they do the stunts in.
Oh,
where they're like really maneuverable and they fly through those loops, and it's like playing Mario Brothers but in real life.
For a second, I thought you were going to say what do they call it? The flutog, where they like they assemble all the stuff on the bikes and they ride them.
Flutog is when just in case our listeners don't know, the flutog is one of those. It's like the drunkenest of all the Red Bull competitions.
It's
like
the worst.
If you have no skills, but you have the balls to drop off of a pier, that's what flutog is.
They like duct tape cardboard wings to bikes.
Yes,
I thought that
I've gone to that in person.
It would be awesome if your virtual reality was a
flutog.
Yeah, and instead of like picking your jet or your car, you get to pick the big rubber
ridiculous
duck.
invention. Like it's basically like Burning Man jumping off of something. It's so silly. No, but I was thinking like those jets that Red Bull has, where they fly like they're like very maneuverable, like stunt jets.
Oh yeah,
and they've had some races and stuff like that where
they
really
spiral and stuff.
Oh yeah, really cool. And like I don't know if I'll ever have the balls or mostly the balls or the finances to go and do one of those. You might have to be trained for years to ever do anything like that. So it's not something you can just jump into. Like, hey, can I rent one of your stunt jets? And they'll be like, what are your credentials? I don't know. I think it'd be fun.
I'm cool.
Yeah, like I don't want to put in like 10 years or even 5 years or even a year. I don't want 2 fucking classes to learn how to fly one of those. But if I could just sit in a virtual reality cockpit in the green room and do that real quick,
totally,
right, while sipping on a mint chocolate chip milkshake.
Oh yeah,
and maybe having a Tres Leches cake, and you know what I mean, like maybe an apple fritter.
Perfect.
And then
can they be in a cornucopia?
For you, I'll do that.
Thank you.
If you're going to sit there and watch me eat it out of the cornucopia and be like, that's how you eat it. That's my boy right there. I'm like, you know what? It gives me a little pleasure to give you a little pleasure. In my non-sexual lovemaking way, of like, if that's going to get you off, I'll do that. We can do that. And then I'd probably have scallops, scallop nigiri sushi from Sugarfish.
All right.
I'd have toro, seared toro from Sugarfish. Oh no, Sugarfish. I don't know if they sear it. Seared toro from a few places. I don't even know where. I would just be like, this is the green room at the Forum in Nick's Fantasy House. Yeah. Blow my mind with some great toro. I'm sure they'll do it. Totally. Right?
Yeah.
And a little bit of salmon. Definitely some salmon from Sugarfish, my favorite salmon. Awesome. And some yellowtail from Sugarfish, also my favorite. I'm just going to Sugarfish for all this stuff. And I think that would probably make me happy as along the lines of the virtual reality cockpit and having that. And what am I doing? I've just hijacked your fantasy show because you gave me the opportunity to get wild with it, right?
Totally. Yeah, that's why I asked.
What are you doing in there?
I'm going to keep it simple.
I kept it simple. I wasn't sitting in a back massager chair, like nothing was, I wasn't having my toenails clipped by a robot. I mean, I was just, eating sushi, flying a jet, a fake VR jet.
That's awesome. Along the lines of the VR thing, I'd like adult arcades that have like the cool ride-on games, like you really get on the motorcycle and you move around, and like
but no consequences for being drunk.
Totally, yeah.
That's what video games are great for. You could be drunk and you could drive this thing. Really?
Right.
All the combo I crave that can never really do.
Totally. All the shoot 'em up games are always fun. Where you like ride on the backs of Jeeps and like shoot dino. What's that, Jurassic Park?
Oh yeah, like the dino hunting.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think people would like that. I don't know. 6 limes and a case of Corona.
Oh, dude. Sounds like this would be the weirdest, longest Corona commercial.
Totally right.
Instead of at a beach, like it does, like
it's just it's my fantasy guest suite.
It's literally been an hour of that, and then it just shows the hand come over and grab the Corona with the lime in it.
Totally.
And it has the Corona logo.
The Corona logo. That's awesome.
Oh, dude. Are you gonna have any food in your green room? What are you gonna eat?
More cake, dude. Cornucopia cake.
More cornucopia. Did you just invent cornucopia cake?
I think I did.
I think you could open one of those in Denver
and just have just
like don't quit your job to open it, but like if you can hire someone at scale, hire someone that is down to manage it.
Yeah, Huey can do it. Another side hustle for Huey. Subcontract.
Yeah, I'm sure
out.
Huey Lewis would love to run a cake shop.
Cornucopia cake.
Nick, you're a brilliant man, but as an entrepreneur, I'm just not sure you're hiring properly. I want to sit in a cockpit right now and fly one of those planes and drive
VR
one. Yeah, dude.
Totally.
It's just. You're like, what do you want in the green room? I was like, oh, I couldn't. And then you're like, no, what do you want? I was like, all right, so I want scallop sushi, VR, everything, and
You're like, wait, what?
Oh, dude. Thank you so much for doing this, man.
Oh, dude, I'm so stoked.
This is such a blast. If you guys need any plumbing,
If they want some positive vibes and just
Right?
want to kick it, yeah. I mean, if anyone wants to come hang out in Denver, I'm game. You
Dude.
can come hang out on the farm and play with my chickens. Got lots of chickens.
I love that that you're so happy there and that the company's great, and it just makes me like. There's always so much negative news about the middle class, economics, all this stuff going on, and so when you hear like this is a company that is kicking ass, they're doing a great service,
Totally.
you're making a good living,
Yep.
the people they're like letting you enjoy your time with your family, and I mean it's like it's so nice to hear like that kind of good news and that positive stuff. But what could you expect any less from Nick?
Totally. Right?
Right?
Positivity.
It's like I think you're an example of like if you're if you have that shining lightness to you, like the stuff comes into your life too, right? Like you probably attract that stuff, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm very happy for your happiness and your good spot in life, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, definitely blessed with good karma.
Thanks for taking time out of your life to come out here and do this. It's so
dude.
special.
Dude, I'm so excited that you let me do this.
Are you kidding me,
It's
dude? I was
awesome.
so excited. Yeah, this has been like I've been looking forward to this. This has been my calendar. I've been like,
Awesome.
dude, this means the world to me. It's so
Yeah.
cool.
Listening to, Fantasy House, like the second I heard the first one, I was like, oh, I know exactly what mine would be. And then it was just in my head. And then I was like, you know what? I'm totally going to ask John if I can be on there.
Dude, I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, it's so rad.
It's so rad having you on this, and I'm glad that it inspired you because that's what I want this show to do. I want people to like feel like as adults, like you can still be creative.
Oh, totally.
And it doesn't matter what job you have. You'd be like,
Yep.
I'm a lawyer. I should have been a guitar player. And it's like, whatever, dude. You can still
Pick up
you
a
can do this in your
guitar.
free time. You could be
Totally.
driving to work in the morning, or you could be at lunch right now,
Yeah.
listening to Fantasy House and being like, hey, like what would I have in my fantasy? Or you can get to know people in your circle too.
Totally.
So you can ask your brother or your sister or you can ask your parent, like, what would be in your fantasy house? And you get to know them more. Because one person's going to, like, I get to know you more when you say, like, there's no tech in my house. Like, oh, you want a break from tech?
Totally.
But, oh, there's applauses going on. Like, oh, you want to feel that excitement of crushing it? Like,
Totally.
like,
all day long.
You get to know people. Ask your spouse. Sit down with your husband, your wife, like, ask your kid, like, what's in your fantasy house? And explain to them if they're like, what are you fucking talking about, my fantasy house? Explain to them what you mean, obviously.
Yeah,
Don't
totally.
Just, have some
Like, wait,
smooth
what?
segues.
What?
Ask them to subscribe. Send them a link, for God's sake.
Do it.
But yeah, like, I think it's just a great thing for adults to do that. And it makes me happy that you got that feeling when you listen to it, because it makes me feel, again, like of some form of service to society, which makes me happy.
Oh, totally.
So
It's so positive, like in that line of thinking, that thought process of in your own head creating what you think your fantasy would be, because it truly would. It leads you to start doing things that you're like, oh man, this is something I could totally do in reality, and then you're like inspired to really do stuff.
Oh, dude, I love that. Like even though like you probably don't have the funds or the technology to have a shower that can like wash you without you having to do anything, right?
Yeah.
But then, like it can influence other decisions. Even just be like, I like it all white in my house. It's like, well, that's totally doable. Like because
Totally.
it makes color pop. It's like that one thing right there could help you decide to make your house that much more.
Totally, and then you turn your fantasy into reality, and it can totally be done. Like, I mean, obviously, like if you want $1 billion robots that do everything for you,
That might be a bad
that might be a
investment
bad
financially too.
Totally,
There's a lot of maintenance in those things. By the way, it's not just the one payment,
right? But there's a lot of things that a lot of people dream about that they just never bring to fruition. They just never go out and do it. They don't strive to do that. They're just like, I could never do that.
Well, you get caught up in patterns though.
You do
without even realizing, like, oh, you're not using your imagination. Oh shit, I forgot. It's been 12 years. And I've been focused on paying my bills or doing what other people are telling me from their imagination.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
I love imagination. I love fantasy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't think it should ever have to go away until you hit the grave. I think you just have it your whole life.
Cradle to the grave.
It's just easy. It's easy to forget sometimes because we get carried away.
Yeah.
I myself just get busy.
You can get busy and wrapped up.
But yeah.
I'm that's one thing that I love with my kids, man, is the little creative minds. And I love just being creative with them.
Isn't it great?
Totally.
It brings
one of the best feelings in the world.
Brings so much joy. Isn't it one of the best? Like,
Totally.
Just brings so much joy just seeing.
Oh, totally.
Witnessing. That's why I always wonder, like, is that what God is? Just like a witness to everything? Because it's like, because there is so much, and not to get overly spiritual, and I don't want to press my beliefs or feelings on anybody, but like there is just so much joy in witnessing.
Yeah.
And I never knew this before having kids, and no one ever explained it to me in a word that I could understand. But like as soon as I had them, I feel like you just hit the nail on the head. Totally. As soon as I had them, other stuff became like less, like my perspective changed.
Totally.
Because I was like, it just becomes about like just like seeing them smile for the first time for something, seeing them get something, seeing them understand something. Dude, the pleasure in that is like, it's like a rocket ship taking off.
Totally. Yeah.
It's so, just even think about it gives me joy.
Right?
It's crazy.
Yeah, you get like the goosebumps and stuff. Yeah, and it's cool. And then you get to be a kid again. You really do.
Yeah.
You know, and then
like live through them.
Totally.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, I'm 8 again. Like, this is awesome.
Like making faces at the kids and then they laugh and then you start laughing. You're like, it's just silliness. And it's
Totally.
the best thing ever. Yeah.
Totally.
Well, this has been freaking phenomenal. Thank you guys for coming along on this journey with me and Nick. And seriously, thanks for coming out. It means the
Dude,
world to me.
awesome. No problem.
All right, you guys have a great week. #blessed guest.
Truly.
Peace.